name is Nikesha Moore, and I'm a doctorate student at Aspen University. I'm currently enrolled in Dissertation III, a class that focuses on Chapter 4 out of 5 chapters in the research study. This brief video provides the researcher's current progress report for data collection. The traditional instrumentation used in this qualitative research study is an interview. As a primary data collection instrument, the interview guide is most effective in creating a discussion around the research questions. This is in addition to the researcher being an instrument as a human observer, conducting research as an instrument. Although the phenomenological study has open-ended and flexible questions, the researcher can use probe questions when appropriate for a deeper understanding of workplace incivility. Workplace incivility can progress to more aggressive behaviors. Some examples of these aggressive behaviors escalated from workplace incivility, which includes employee sabotage and harassment. There are other examples listed here, including workplace violence. It is important that researchers conduct the interview free from distractions. This section identifies and briefly describes the nature of the collected data in a 23 step-by-step implemented method specifically for a face-to-face interview to be followed. The 23-step data implementation method will be discussed here. If we look over to the third column, you'll see identified data type. So I'm going to go through these 23 steps, but I will also at the same time discuss challenges and barriers that I have encountered. So first, I collected data, current healthcare data. I located retail organizations, sent an initial email to the retail organization's human resource department, sent a recruitment letter, company letterhead site permission template for them to fill out if they didn't have one of their own. The challenges and barriers I found is that a lot of retail organizations found that they haven't had a student contact them about this to be able to conduct research at their organization, on site, or in a library, or at the participant's home. This was something new, so it took a lot of time and energy to get through to the right appropriate person. So I sent it to Human Resources, but I have found that I have been sent to operations, press release, media, and even the legal team. And sometimes Human Resources department would look around and say they'll get back to me and find out who should receive my email. So that's one of the biggest challenges I found. I started out with contacting a couple organizations, 6 to 7 several organizations, and increased to 10 and increased to 13 and so on. And so those were the biggest challenges there. Once I've also sent initial emails to public librarians because I wanted the participants to have a choice to have their interview at the organization or to have it at a library or their home. Site authorization request letter was sent, a company letterhead site permission template was sent, library permission statements were also emailed to me. Any challenges there or barriers? Absolutely not. I actually received site authorizations within probably a week or two or less. Librarians were actually very, very helpful, and the directors or managers were more than happy to assist me. Emails to authors for usage. These were for templates such as demographic forms, interview protocol guide, the interview guide, basically. So I found a number of authors that I looked at through dissertations. I compared the appendixes and picked ones that I believe that would best suit my research title, where I can craft it and create it into my own that would be more suitable for my topic. I had no problems getting authors providing permission over the phone within less than 24 hours of sending an email. They were all very helpful, excited, and gave me lots of advice. And they totally understood workplace incivility. We would talk for a long time. It was just exciting, informative, educating conversations. However, there was one author that I wasn't able to receive a written permission, although they said they would have it to me in 24 hours. But a previous author gave me permission for theirs, which was great. Participant flyers were sent out, informed consent forms, signed informed consent forms are received back. But for this 23-step data implementation methods, more so for face-to-face. So I have encountered challenges, even scheduling an interview. The participant from the retail organization had an email address. They reached out to me, and then I was instructed by the retail organization leader that the participant doesn't check email that often. So I will be having a face-to-face interview tomorrow. I will be providing in hand in the interview a demographics form and informed consent form as well. Other papers, I will just provide a copy that I have sent to the retail organization to pass on to the participant, just to make sure that they have their own records. And then I can have the demographic form completed and the informed consent form signed. Schedule interview was scheduled. I'm the interviewer. I have to ensure that I'm not biased. Tape recorded interview information will be tape recorded. I am thinking of a backup that could be possibly a tape record interview information as well. I'm going to use my iPhone to record as well. And also as a backup, I will use my laptop. I will sign into Zoom, be able to record the interview so that I can have it transcribed. Field note interview information, I will use the protocol guide. The interview guide I will use as well. Any problems with that, challenges or barriers? Not at all with the interview guide or the protocol guide. I actually conducted a pilot test with one participant. And I found that through the pilot test, I was able to ask questions based off of what the participant said. So a lot of the times in the order of the questions that I have on the interview guide, I did not ask them in order. It wasn't needed because I would ask questions to the participant based off of what they had said. Demographic sheets, I have here listed in a 23-step data implementation method to have it completed at the end of the interview. However, with a face-to-face interview, I am finding from the Zoom interviews that are on the internet that it's better to have the demographic form and the informed consent form completed before the interview. List of counseling services, any challenges or barriers there? Absolutely not in terms of finding free resources on the internet. However, the challenge has been, there's been multiple people that are interested in learning more about the research to see if they would qualify or meet the criteria. And I find that I'm finding resources nationally in the United States and different states, from the West Coast to the East Coast to the Southern United States. I'm even looking for resources, free resources, overseas and abroad. So it's that also takes a little bit of time and energy, but it's but those are the barriers I would say at first. But once I have them, I always know that I do have them. So that's great. The collection data process for social media is not quite the same as the 23 step-by-step face-to-face collection instrumentation guide that I mentioned previously. The participant interviews will be conducted over a password-encrypted laptop on Zoom. The time frame is still 1 hour to 2 hours. However, there will not be any snacks or bottled water provided for a Zoom call. Before the interview begins, the researcher must have already obtained the signed informed consent form and the completed demographic form. If these are not available, the researcher will email the documents immediately for the completed documents to be emailed back to the researcher before the interview begins. Once the researcher has received both documents, the researcher will start recording in Zoom online and proceed with the interview guide question and use the interview protocol guide to record notes. The researcher can also have the Zoom video call transcribed by purchasing the Zoom transcription subscription monthly or yearly. The researcher has decided to go monthly. It's $200 a month. Yearly is approximately $2,000. Once the interview has been completed, the researcher will email the participant free counseling and support group information and ensure the participant has received the free resources before ending Zoom. This is just for any distress the participant may have encountered during the interview, reflecting on life experiences. Also, the courtesy gift of $75, actually it was $50 originally, but it's been increased to $75, is given before the interview actually starts. Any challenges or barriers with social media data collection? Absolutely. The researcher has joined numerous groups for retail, And site administrators have given her site authorization, which is great for some of them, which is fantastic. Others, she's always able to join the group. They give permission for the researcher to join the group, however, not necessarily site authorization via email. Any other challenges? Not necessarily. The researcher has found that Facebook and LinkedIn has been a great resource. As soon as she actually started using social media, she got an interview right away. The current position now is that the researcher has had one interview last week. One is scheduled tomorrow. Another interview is scheduled this Friday. The researcher's goal is to have 4 regions in the United States for participants and 1 participant abroad. This will help with confidentiality of not knowing specifically who the participant is, where they are specifically located, in which state or which country abroad. This helps with confidentiality and privacy. The researcher's goal is also to either have 3 regions in the United States, which the researcher will have by the end of this week, and potentially 2 participants abroad, which will make it about 5 participants. Thank you for listening to the researcher's progress report, and have a great day.